All of the wrestling community is in absolute shock after hearing the news of Scott Hall. Today, we take a look at his legendary career and, of course, the reason behind his tragic death. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Scott Hall, also known as Razor Ramon in WWE, is an absolute legend recognized all around the world. Not only was he one of the most influential characters of his era, but he is also a founding member of the renowned faction New World Order. Hall had been placed on life support after he suffered 3 severe heart attacks. It is reported that Hall was going to get a hip surgery done, but due to some issues, he developed a blood clot. The blood clot led to 3 heart attacks, and Scott was soon found in a critical condition. Scott Hall's best friend and tag team partner Kevin Nash then posted on Instagram early Monday morning, and what he said was heartbreaking. He said that Hall would soon be removed from life support once his family was available. It was at the Wellstar Keniston Hospital in Marietta, Georgia, where our legend took his last breath. Once his family was present, he was removed from life support, and we all lost Scott Hall, a legend who will always be remembered in the wrestling world. Their family must be going through such a hard time, and we just wish they can get through it. After it was confirmed, we saw on Monday Night Raw how WWE paid tribute to the legend with visual graphics and a short video. The video was kind of like a short documentary where they looked back on his career and relived some of the great moments. It also had legends like Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash expressing their feelings for Hall. Later, once the news spread all around the internet, more and more people paid their respect to the legend. Not just fans, but even superstars and celebrities from WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, and even Hollywood tweeted about the legend. We saw Triple H's emotional post where he said, "I'm gutted, lost a brother," and expressed how much he loves Scott. It's just one of the many tweets that emerged in the remembrance of Scott Hall. The news was unexpected. Hall was not old at all, and neither was he that sick. He just went away from all of us so suddenly. Hall is known for being one of the most energetic and charismatic wrestlers in the 90s and early 2000s. This whole character was so electrifying and magnetic. Initially, Hall's career kicked off in the 1980s when he had brief stints with both WWF and WCW. However, he did not make the breakthrough in either of those promotions. It was in AWA where his popularity was blooming. He had a successful run with them, and now it was time for him to move to the bigger promotions. He moved on to WCW as the Diamond Stud, a gimmick that worked well for him. Even though he was involved in the Tag Team Championship title for some time, his team didn't work out and he left WCW for WWF. In 1992, Hall returned to WWE, this time under the name Razor Ramon, who would have the character of a badass Cuban-American gangster. Just look at Razor, his style, the clothes, the way he walks. This was the character he was destined to play, the one he had been waiting for all these years. This character was mainly inspired by the characters of Tony Montana and Manny Rivera from the 1983 film Scarface. Razor soon went on to cement his signature bad guy personality and became the leading superstar of WWF. During his tenure with the company, he was involved mostly in the tag team and the Intercontinental Championship. If you didn't know, he is a 4-time Intercontinental Champion. It's a pretty great achievement, because back then the Intercontinental title was indeed prestigious, and a lot of big names were always involved around it. At WrestleMania 10, he dropped one of his classic performances. It was a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship against Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels. 1-versus-1 ladder matches are always hard to pull off. It requires superb timing to create the thrills, but when you have wrestling wizards like Hall and Michaels in the ring, the match will certainly be entertaining. Hall defeated Shawn to win the championship that day after putting up an excellent match. It is considered to be one of the greatest matches of that era. It was also voted Match of the Year in the 1994 Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards. Apart from that, Hall was around Kevin Nash, his best friend. Nash was known as Diesel in the WWF, and they knew each other way before in their WCW days when they worked together. Hall and Nash were part of the Clique, which was a stable consisting of real-life friends. Apart from the duo, it also had Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and X-Pac. In 1996, Hall would leave WWE alongside his friend Kevin Nash and be part of a storyline that would portray them as invaders. The fans just loved this gimmick. With Nash and Hall's badass personality and superb mic skills, they were destined for greatness. To make the stable even greater, WCW signed Hulk Hogan, who would always join them and form New World Order, arguably one of the greatest stables in the history of professional wrestling. New World Order, or in short NWO, would be a key reason behind the success of WCW over WWF for 83 straight weeks. Their charisma was just infinite. The wrestling world wanted to see something like this, a team that not only just wrestles but connects with the fans, a team that was just badass. This team wrecked anything that came in their way and was a one-of-a-kind, the first ever team to have a "we defy the authority" kind of vibe. Hall won 7 tag team titles in WCW along with Nash. He also had won another one with the Big Show, known in WCW as the Giant. However, if you think it was only the tag team division he aced in, you are wrong, because the legend has also won the WCW United States Championship twice and the WCW Television Championship once, easily one of the most decorated stars of his time. If you've made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe to be entered in our monthly shout-out giveaway. Then comment below, "I subbed." Without further ado, let's get to the most important part. Despite all the success, Hall was not living a happy life since he was battling drug and alcohol addiction. Towards the end of his career, Hall had a brief stint in WWE before retiring in TNA after a certain bar incident that led to legal troubles. After all this, he went into rehab and started living with his friend and wrestling legend, Diamond Dallas Page. Page helped Scott get back with his life and even helped him with a hip surgery that he underwent in 2013. A year later, in 2014, Hall returned to WWE to be inducted into the Hall of Fame under the name Razor Ramon. However, this was not the only time he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. In 2020, WWE decided to induct New World Order, or NWO, and along with Hogan, Nash, and Waltman, Hall was inducted as well. Scott Hall once said, "Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do." True. The bad guy, Scott Hall, will always be remembered. Rest in peace, legend. Be sure to watch Vince McMahon fires his son Shane, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.